Hey folks, it's Dr. Mark Zabel here. I had a thought this morning I want to share with you. I've got an article that's linked to this video as well where you can go into more detail if you want. The idea is around social license. And it's time we get rid of the concept of social license. It meant well, it's not really working for anybody. And I think part of the problem is social license means that if you've got a project that you're trying to get done, you can't plan around it because it's out of your control. And it doesn't really work for the folks that are against the projects either, because it's kind of a blunt instrument. It doesn't get them any closer to the seat of power. It just gives them a veto power and no say in how anything moves forward. So I think there's probably a better concept that we can use instead of social license, and it's social capital. And the idea around social capital is you look at the relationships, you look at the trust, and you look at the social norms that are operating, and you try and influence those in a way that's going to get you what everybody needs to get out of the situation. Social license doesn't scale. When you try and scale social license, you basically have the end of society because there's no basis for which people can work together. The good thing about social capital is it puts the onus on the project proponent to make sure that things are working for everybody. And so when we use that as a bit of a concept to organize our thinking, it's probably a little bit more useful. There's also an interesting concept around the ladder of engagement, or a continuum of engagement. And on one hand, you've got manipulation, and on the other hand, you've got actual delegation of input and control. Our energy sector, we're not so great at doing engagement. Traditionally, we haven't had to because we had the moral high ground. Well, we've lost the moral high ground. And when you lose the moral high ground, you need to be much better at engagement. Traditionally, our engagement has been on the manipulation side, or put lipstick on a pig side, or we've created the project, now do engagement so that people will like it. That doesn't work, and it didn't work before. It's not going to work now, where people are informed and not going to put up with that sort of thing. So when we look at engagement in the energy sector as a way to build social capital, it's an opportunity to bring people closer into the planning process and bring them in at a point where they're actually going to have say in things, so that when the stuff hits the fan, and it always will, you've got a core group of folks that have been engaged in the process from the get-go, and they're going to be much more amenable to being your advocates. Anyway, that's a short version of the article. The link is here or here somewhere, but I advise you to give it a look and see what you think. Feel free to let me know one way or another whether you agree that social capital is going to be a much more useful way to approach this than social license. Thanks for listening.